Good morning. It's time once again for Trust Matters, Real Estate and Estate Planning Solutions with Gateville Law Firm's Sean Robertson, online at gatevillelawfirm.com, located in Yorkville. And Sean is located in the studio this morning, back in for another show. Sean, good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
So today we are focusing on a real estate attorney and legal tips for selling your house. That could be something, folks, especially as we get into some warmer weather or the housing market booms a bit once winter clears out soon. So kind of a timely topic, I guess.
Absolutely. So my team, we do real estate and estate planning. So my team has over 50 years of title experience on my team. And most of the people have worked for title companies and have been managers at title companies. So I think we're pretty well qualified for doing real estate law as well as estate planning.
All right. So what are some things we need to consider here?
So generally, there's three major steps or processes in the real estate transaction. The first is when there's a contract, there's what they call the attorney review and home inspection period. And generally, once you get a contract, you email us the contract, you call us. We work with a lot of realtors, local realtors. We work throughout Chicagoland. So the first part is just revising the contract and also dealing with home inspection items.
All right, appraisals and those types of things, right?
Exactly. So the first part dealing with home inspections are like, are you the buyer? Are you going to get certain things repaired? Are you going to get accredited? From the seller standpoint, what level of credit you're going to get. And not only that, but there's a lot of issues too, Mike, where there's a lot of complex tax issues, meaning there's a lot of people that don't pay tax. They may be disabled veterans. And when you're on the sell or the buy side as an attorney, you got to know how to handle those situations.
Yeah, there can be a lot of red tape, a lot of stuff that, you feel like you're close to the deal, but then there's lots of haggling over, you mentioned the what kind of shape the house is in. Well,
yep.
Let's put it in the contract that you're going to handle this repair, and I don't have to deal with it once I move in, and those types of
exactly.
things.
And a lot of times you need a real estate attorney and not just like a family law attorney, because you need to know the VA rules, the FHA rules, the conventional rules, the USDA rules. There's a lot of complex issues involved with real estate, more than people realize.
Earnest money is also an issue, right?
Correct. And a lot of times when a transaction goes south, the question is, does somebody lose their earnest money or do they get it returned? Most of the time, in my experience, they get it returned. But these are the reasons why you need a good real estate team on your team.
All right. So how about some of the other items we need to touch base on here in the next 90 seconds or so?
Yeah. So home appraisal process is also important, whether the house appraises. And the role of an attorney is to negotiate that issue, whether the contract's going to cancel, whether the seller is going to move the price down to the contract or the appraisal price. And these are the type of things that we help people with as well.
Yeah, there are so many steps that, especially if you're going through this the first time, either as a buyer or a seller, that you just don't think about. And that's where you guys come in and you've got the experience and the know-how and can take care of those matters that if it's not done properly, you're like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like on Friday evening, for instance, we represented a buyer where the seller forgot a survey. And that's a pretty important thing in a transaction. And the seller basically said that they hadn't made any improvements. And so after about 20 minutes of thinking on our feet, we ended up getting a survey from Fidelity National Title, the previous one. But that's where having connections and knowing what you're doing matters.
Title insurance, pretty important as well, right?
Absolutely. So a lot of times with the role of the survey, it determines what level of title insurance you may have or may not have. And so that's why all my staff, including me, were trained at the title companies. And I think that's a pretty big asset, having your seller or buyer's attorney knowing how the title insurance works and knowing real estate inside and out.
Yeah, it's a good facet of your law firm that folks listening to this show might not have realized till today, that you're perfect for real estate and doing all of that for buyers. Gateville Law Firm provides exceptional legal representation for buyers in Kendall and nearby counties as well. As Sean mentioned, over 50 years of experience. That'll do it for this edition of Trust Matters, Real Estate and Estate Planning Solutions. Gateville Law Firm is in Yorkville. They're online at gatevillelawfirm.com, and you can call 630-780-1034 at Gateville Law Firm. Trust Matters.